People seem to think that the world is unfair, and those are all the same people who tell themselves they're unlucky. I actually believe the opposite. I believe the universe is a very giving place. I believe God is a very giving being, and that the world, all in all, generally balances out and is pretty fair. If you're the kind of person who deserves a good life and works their ass off and genuinely wants it and tries very hard, guess what you get 99% of the time? A good life. And if you're the kind of person who doesn't really deserve it, slacks 3 days a week, a little bit lazy, snakes his friends, talks behind people back, blah, 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 guess what? Your life ain't all that good. The universe is pretty fair and pretty balanced. I've yet to meet somebody who gets up every day, does what they're supposed to do, works hard, goes to the gym, then goes to work, does their best, makes their money, looks after it, is sensible, doesn't blow it, etc., who then fails. I've never met anybody who fails when they do all the right things. The universe is a very fair and giving place, all in all. There are very few exceptions to that. So when I see somebody who doesn't have the success they want, especially when I see, let's say, a group of people who don't have the success they want, there's no way you're all exceptions to that rule. You may want something, but you certainly don't deserve it. And that's why you don't have it.
You shouldn't wake up and say, how happy am I today? How does that affect how I act? That's not how I operate. I wake up and say, what must be done? What will allow me to be proud of myself? What will allow me to achieve? And those things will be done regardless of how I feel. And that's how the most successful people on earth all operate. The most successful people on earth don't only do things because they feel happy about doing them. If you never make a mark on the world, then you effectively never existed. And when you're gone, nobody will care. And that's very important because you have a duty to your ancestors and you have a duty to God. So you must make a choice. And this is genuine choice to you people at home. Do you want to live in obscurity forever and be invisible and not matter and have an easier life? I would argue that it's not easier because in your heart and in your soul, you're going to feel guilty knowing you could have been something you're not. Or do you want to try your absolute best and struggle and suffer every day of your life, paying the rent for all of the amazing things around you? We pay endless rent. We pay rent for our bodies. We pay rent for our relationships. We pay rent to keep our kids. We pay rent to keep our business. We pay rent to keep our freedom. Every single day is work to pay the rent. It's absolutely never ending. And you have to make that choice. So if you have a pen and paper in front of you, you need to decide, do you want to be invisible with a lower rent bill, or do you want to be important and work hard and suffer to make sure that the rent is paid? It's a choice you must make, and it's binary, and you must be extremely dedicated towards the decision you finally make. I refuse to accept that there are people out there who cannot become happy, contented individuals. I refuse to accept we live in a world where God has created people who, no matter how hard they work and how good their life becomes, can't be happy. I don't accept that. I accept that the universe is a very giving place and that God loves all of us. And if you try your best and you work hard, you can become a better person. The beauty of life as a man is to be great. So you have to sit here and ask yourself, do you want to be a happy loser that's insignificant? Nobody knows you exist. Women don't respect you. Men don't respect you. Nobody cares if you live or die, but you get to smile all the time. Or do you want to be one of the most important people on the planet with a little bit of stress? Alternatively, you can go out there into the world, try and implement your mark on the world, work hard, try to get rich, more money, more problems. You can try and start a business, the stress of that. You can lose your girlfriend because all you're doing is working. This is a new level of stress, a new level of trauma, but at least you'll be a somebody at the end of it. As a man, there is no easy life. Your life is not about being easy. Your life is not about being happy. Your life is always going to be difficult. All of the pain you feel, all of the sadness you feel, you're supposed to feel as a man, and you have two effective binary choices. You either go through the suffering and go through the trauma and go through the hardship it takes to be a man of value, or you suffer eternity as a nobody. There's two ways to suffer. You either suffer as becoming a somebody, or you suffer as a perpetual and forever nobody. We have to not conflate and confuse issues here. What we're actually talking about is status. We're not talking about money. We're talking about status. Men want money because we want to be high status males. Females want to be high status females. They don't need money to do that. They can do that purely through their aesthetics. So if I was a woman, thank God I'm not, because I think I'd be a terrible existence. But if I was a woman, I would understand, okay, I want to be the highest status female I can. I need to look good. I need to look gorgeous and get a banging Instagram profile. I'm a high status now. Now billionaires want to talk to me. For a billionaire to want to talk to us, we need money.
It's not the whole...
You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a billionaire's boat, the chicks who get on that boat don't have to be anything other than pretty. That is it. For us to get on that boat, we have to be connected, important, rich, interesting. We got to know people. We got to network. It's hard. So what I'm saying is, if you're looking for status, whether as a male or a female, there's different paths. I don't think a rich female is a high status female. If you were to take a woman who's unattractive, but she had a bunch of money, no one's going to look at her and go, wow. No one's going to give a shit. I don't care. She's busted. I'm not interested. I'm giving the 19-year-old brokey with the big titties. That's the one I want to talk to. So women can access money and women can access high status men via their aesthetics. So I think that's a much more intelligent way for a female to increase her status. Now, I know this is going to upset everyone. People are going to be sitting there going, you're saying women are only good for how they look, blah, 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 all this other crap. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that women are judged instantly on how they look. Just like men are judged instantly on our status, how rich we are, the car we turn up in, the table we're sitting at.
Yep.
That's the real world. Now, maybe you have more than just some big tits. Maybe you're also a nice person. It's unlikely, but maybe you are. But we're just talking about status games here, right?
Yeah.
So any woman who's dedicating herself to hustling instead of dedicating herself to the gym is making a mistake. But truthfully, we're living in a world now where the two things that the webcam business really is selling is it's selling attention, which is the first thing. We live in an attention economy. And also it's selling information. It's a service, right? It's not a physical product. So I sat there and I understood that even if I launched my webcam business, if I had a brand new girl, she has to get attention, right? People have to notice she exists to want to spend money on her. So you have to be an expert at soliciting attention. And then once you get the attention, you have to find a way to monetize it. So the girl would monetize it by sitting there talking away. You could advertise her and spend money. That's all advertising is, getting attention from money, right?
Yep.
So I understood a bunch of things. And when I closed that business, and I closed it because I couldn't be bothered with the female headache anymore, I still very much understood any business I'm going to launch from now on out, I need to find a way to get attention. Not in a negative way, not in an attention-seeking way, but that's what advertising is.
Yeah, how do I get yourself out there?
Yeah, how do I get attention in the world today, which is difficult? And then once I get that attention, how do I monetize it?
Yeah,
because that's the world we now live in. Rihanna, when she launches a makeup brand, no one buys it because of the makeup. They buy it because it's Rihanna. She has attention. She can monetize it any way she chooses. Rihanna can launch a fucking clothing brand, makeup, sofas. Who cares? It's Rihanna.
Yeah.
She's going to sell, right? So that proves that we now live in an economy. We live in a world where the most valuable currency, the most valuable thing that exists is attention. It's extremely difficult to get because people's attention spans are lower than ever.
Yep.
Bro, they're non-existent. Have you ever watched someone on TikTok? Next time someone's on TikTok, watch them, because I don't have a TikTok account myself, but I see people on it. How long do they give a video to interest them? Maybe a third of a second? They're like, bro, that quick. If you don't get my attention in 0.25 seconds, I'm not interested, right? That's how hard it is now. So, and it's getting harder and harder because the apps and the algorithms are retraining our brains to do that.
Yep.
So now we live in a world where if you can find a way to hack these algorithms and you can find a way to get attention, and there's lots of different ways to do that, then you can find a way to monetize it. And off the back of that, you can become a very, very wealthy individual. And when I say modern wealth creation methods, it's because a lot of the wealth creation methods that you're going to hear from older people simply don't work anymore.
Such as property.
Property. I mean, of course, the old guy is going to sit there and go, save your money, put it in a savings account, get a mortgage. Bro, of course that worked for you. You were putting money in a savings account, getting 4% interest. Yeah. Now they won't even give us 1%. You're putting money in a savings account. You bought a house for 85 grand. Now it's worth $500,000. And at the time you bought it for 85 grand, you were probably earning 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
Now I'm earning 40 grand a year. The house has cost 10 times more. I get no interest on my money. So everything you're telling me is outdated. It doesn't work anymore.